If you have ever wondered what would happen when Southern noir collides with the drug trade, family trauma, and the weight of a missing mother's ghost, or if you enjoy crime thrillers where family secrets refuse to stay buried, or if you're drawn to characters who must choose between loyalty, survival, and redemption, and you like stories that are as intense as they are heartfelt, if so, then today's book just might be for you. Today, I'll be reviewing King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. Welcome to Spencer Reads Everything. I'm your host, Spencer Duncan. And on this channel, my goal is simple. I read widely across genres, from literary fiction to history, fantasy to memoir to young adult novels, and I share thoughtful reviews to help you decide what books might be worth your time and which ones just might not be. I picked up today's book, King of Ashes, after hearing it mentioned on several book lists, one from the Economist podcast and another on a summer reading suggestion from the New York Times. So I knew I had to see for myself what S.A. Cosby had done with his latest novel. But before I do that, let's actually take a look at S.A. Cosby. S.A. Cosby, born Sean Andre Cosby in 1973 in Newport News, Virginia, not too far from my hometown of Richmond. He is one of the leading voices in what's often called Southern noir, which is crime fiction steeped in the atmosphere of the modern South. He still lives in Virginia, in Gloucester on the York River, and much of his writing reflects that deep connection to place. Cosby has published 5 crime novels: My Darkest Prayer, Blacktop Wasteland, Razorblade Tears, All the Sinners Bleed, and now this one, King of Ashes. Blacktop Wasteland won the Los Angeles Times Book Prize Award and the International Thriller Writers Award, while Razorblade Tears hit the New York Times bestseller list and became a Jimmy Fallon Summer Reads pick, racking up nominations for nearly every major crime fiction award. What makes Cosby stand out isn't just the accolades, though. His novels are known for their cinematic pacing, the raw intensity, and emotional heart. He isn't afraid to tackle subjects like race, class, family, and morality, and of course King of Ashes brings all of those elements into sharp focus. So that being said, before I dive into the summary, I need to give a clear spoiler warning. King of Ashes is a high-energy, violent novel full of twists, betrayals, and shocking turns. To really explain what happens in the story, I'll be going into detail, which means I'll be revealing major plot points along the way. If you want to experience every surprise for yourself, this is the time to pause the video, go read the book, and then come back when you're ready. For everyone else, let's jump into the characters and the story. So first, let me give you a rundown of the main characters. The biggest part of this book is the Caruthers family. And so we'll take a look at each of the members of that family, but even in that family, the most important person to know is Roman Caruthers. He is a successful financial advisor living in Atlanta, and he is haunted by his mother's disappearance and drawn back to his hometown after his father's suspicious accident. There's his father, Keith Caruthers. He is known for running the family crematory until, of course, this accident that put him in a coma that after being forced off the road. Then there is Neve Caruthers, and that is Roman's sister. She is known for being practical and determined, and she's actually been the one that has mostly been keeping the crematory alive throughout the last decade plus, and especially since her father has had this accident. Then there's Dante Caruthers. He's the youngest brother. He is known for being reckless and drug addicted, and it is actually his deaths that drag the family into this danger. Then there is Benita Caruthers. She is the sibling's mother who vanished years ago, and she is the one that is making a lot of what is going on, at least in the background, much more difficult, much more challenging. It is her ghost, figuratively speaking, that is really causing tensions within the family. It's making it hard for them to solve what is a very real and present problem for them. Then you have what is the problem, and that is going to be people like Torrent and Tranquil. They're leaders of the Black Baron Boys, which is a violent gang, and Dante owes money to them. There are a couple of women that get mentioned. There is someone at the beginning, I think her name is Miss Delicate, which is one of these women that Roman is involved with, although it seems to be a very particular relationship. I'll tell you now that part of that seems to deal with some of his mother issues, and that's actually one of the elements of the book that I would say is a little more graphic, that you would probably want to be aware of before you would suggest this book to anyone that's going to be an issue for. There's also some side characters like Getty and Cassidy. They're actually Dante's very unreliable friends, and they are the ones who helped spark this disastrous drug scheme. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the book itself. Roman's life in Atlanta is comfortable, but there's a hollowness to it. He is haunted by his mother's disappearance. He masks that guilt with a lot of late-night visits to Miss Delicate, who is a dominatrix, who feeds his need for some kind of penance, and everything changes when his sister Neve calls. Their father Keith has been run off the road and lies in a coma. Roman returns home to Jefferson Run, Virginia. I don't know if that's a real place. I don't think it is. I don't recognize it, but the whole point is that it's a small town, and I think it's pretty far south of Richmond, so it could be, and I just don't recognize the name of it. But it is also a town that is crumbling from economic decline, and it is where he quickly learns that the accident was no accident. His younger brother Dante admits that he owes the Black Baron boys $300,000. Alongside his friends Getty and Cassidy, he tried to push drugs to wealthy college students. The plan collapsed, the drugs disappeared, and now Dante is on the hook. And the gang leaders, Torrent and Tranquil, have escalated from threats to outright violence. Their father's accident was a warning. There had also been some other incidences. And so Roman, drawing on his background in finance, convinces the gang to let him try to make the money back for them. He pitches ideas about laundering money through government contracts and construction projects, offering to turn their cash into legitimate profits. The brothers are intrigued and give him time, but it puts Roman in their pocket, tied directly to their criminal empire, something that he very much does not want to be. Meanwhile, he begins a relationship with the gang leader's sister, complicating everything. And the desire sometimes blinds him to some of the danger of mixing family with business, and soon both, of course, his heart and his survival are on the line. The tension builds as Dante spirals deeper into drugs and recklessness, and Neve grows resentful of Roman's absence and how the risky choices, and of course, as I've said this whole time, there's ghosts of Bonita's disappearance that continue to shadow them all. And the crematory becomes a symbol of both their livelihood, but also their entrapment, the place where negotiations, threats, and betrayals unfold. So you can see how that becomes a real stand-in, obviously, as a reference to the title itself, King of Ashes. Roman's attempts to maneuver the gang's money, it actually tends to be successful, but it just also keeps pulling him deeper and deeper in. And of course, Getty and Cassidy's betrayal becomes much more clear. They lied about how much was stolen. They are the ones that are pushing the debt unfairly onto Dante. Of course, the Black Baron boys don't care who's at fault. They want results, and so every delay raises the threat level. You'll see a fair amount of violent interactions, and this story actually escalates towards, we'll just say, an inevitable violence. There's going to be lots and lots of violence. There's going to be ambushes. There's going to be some shootouts. There's going to be some brutal confrontations. Roman, who, as I said, was once this polished advisor in Atlanta, is forced to become a fighter. So he is trying his best to use both his brains and at times some brutality to keep his family alive. But every victory does come at a real cost. And so in the final act, well, you know, I'm not going to give you all the details. Just know that the general storyline of this is everything that I've laid out, and piece by piece you're seeing Roman as he's getting more and more involved with this gang, but also as he is trying to help his family. Whether it is in the best approach or not is a whole nother issue, and you'll just see what happens in the end. Well, it's a pretty thrilling final chapter or two, but I'll leave it up to you guys to read and to decide for yourself just what you think. I really enjoyed King of Ashes. I mean, from the opening scenes, well, maybe I shouldn't reference opening scenes because that is him at a dominatrix, but from the very beginning, you are certainly being pulled straight into the story, and it does keep the tension tight all the way through. The pacing is sharp. I agree with that assessment of the author. I haven't read any of his other books, but based off this one, I can see how that could be the case. And the action is relentless, and it's the kind of book that makes you want to keep turning pages, I'd say, well into the night. What stood out to me most is how well Cosby captures the atmosphere of Jefferson Run, which, as I've said, I don't even know if it's a real place, but just the weight of the family history is a very real part of the book. It really adds a whole lot of texture to it. So this isn't, you know, just a crime story. It's a story about siblings that are bound together by the trauma, guilt, and survival, and what exactly that does to their family. That said, the novel is very violent. Cosby doesn't hold back on brutality or other explicit details. By the end, you feel marked by the story as if you have been through the fire with the characters, and of course it leaves you unsettled, and I think that's exactly the point. He wants you to experience both the rush and the cost of the violence and maybe feel just a little gritty yourself by the end. And so I loved the intensity and the storytelling. I also appreciated that it wasn't just escapism, it's entertainment, but entertainment with some real weight to it. That being said, who is this for? Well, this book is for readers who want crime fiction with depth. If you like thrillers that move fast but still give you layered characters and complex family dynamics, this will resonate with you. It's a strong fit for anyone who enjoys Southern noir, where the setting feels as alive as the characters. It's also for readers who appreciate morally complex stories. Roman Caruthers isn't a straightforward hero. He negotiates with criminals, he hides his secrets, and he makes compromises that blur the line between right and wrong, and in many cases just straight up crosses it. And if you like novels where choices are messy and morality isn't simple, King of Ashes thrives in that space. Finally, it's for readers who want a book that feels cinematic. I mean, you have vivid set pieces, you have relentless pacing, and you have an ending that hits really hard. So if you want a thriller that delivers action and substance in equal measures, this one fits the bill. So who is this book not for? Well, this is not for the faint of heart. If graphic violence makes you uncomfortable, this won't be an enjoyable read. The novel includes bloody shootouts, brutal fights, and the kind of violence that can just really stick with you because it's messy, it's gritty. It is also steeped in addiction and drug culture, with Dante's downfall and the drug trade at the center of the story. Those themes are portrayed honestly and unflinchingly, which can be heavy to take in. The sexual content is also quite explicit. You have some discussion with Roman sessions with Miss Delicate, but also along with his other relationships. They are very much presented in some frank detail. So if that sort of content is something that you try to avoid, then this probably isn't going to be for you either. So overall, the book's tone is dark. There are no tidy resolutions and easy wins. And so if you're looking for something light or hopeful or neatly resolved, this is not going to be that book. The resolution that comes with this book comes with significant cost. King of Ashes is a dark, violent, and emotionally charged novel that shows S.A. Cosby's skill at combining action with depth. It's about family bonds, the weight of guilt, and the dangerous bargains people strike when they're desperate. It's not comfortable, but it is compelling, and I came away impressed by both the energy of the story and the seriousness of its themes. Of course, I'd love to know what you think. Have you read King of Ashes, or do you have any favorite crime novels that keep you up as you are just turning page after page? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. And while you're here, be sure to check out more of my videos and playlists. Whatever your reading tastes, whether it's history, fantasy, literary fiction, or thrillers, I'm confident you'll find something that catches your interest. Remember, the name of the channel is Spencer Reads Everything. And if you like my videos, please share them. The more people who find this channel, the more content I can create. And don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. And until next time, keep those pages turning.